Well, we all know that the authoritarian left have been using this crisis in order to make massive power grabs. And they've been abusing the power that they have been grabbing to shut down businesses, not based off of who is and isn't essential, but based off of who is and isn't a donor, right? And we know the Democrats have been pressuring social media companies, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google, and the likes to suppress and censor out conservative content. And this is nothing new. We've been talking about this for a while. And the whole idea is to make it hard for conservative content creators to be able to attract an audience, grow, get funding, and be able to get information out. They need to be able to control the information that is out there. And doing that, they make sure that liberal channels are well funded by giving them a boost, a promotion in the search algorithms. Instead of conservatives being hidden in the search algorithms, liberals are being over-promoted, overexposed. So that's all you hear. And you never get the actual counterfactual, the actual information that you need. Well, now the left wing is not just going after the online content creators, the conservative blogs, conservative YouTube channels, or conservative podcasters. No, now they're using this crisis to go after the big boys, Fox News, and all the big channels. And they're coming up with a narrative that is completely debunked by the facts, but they're coming up with this narrative in order to be able to create a justification to introduce legislation that could wipe out Fox News, to legislate Fox News off the map, and be able to get rid of the big powerhouse pushing back against the fake news media of MSNBC, NBC, CNN. Now, does that mean Fox News is always truthful? No, but they separate their journalists from their opinion people, right? And they are more transparent. Now, they get things more right than any of the left-wing organizations, but they have this narrative. They have this narrative that they are going to attack Fox News with and all other conservative big content creators in order to legislate them out of existence. Let's see if you can catch what that narrative is. Here's clip one.
To give them the truth. And one other thing I want to add is when you look at these press conferences, if you were watching MSNBC, today would not have been surprising. If you watch Fox News, today's press conference may have been surprising to you because networks like Fox just kept giving false information, misleading information to many Americans, and they really should have apologized for what they did.
Well, I think you speak to, Congressman, the role of perception and information in this. Dr. Osterholm, that does seem different. In other words, if Americans want to hold vastly different views of the world, even counterfactual, there are a whole range of topics where that may not hurt anyone.
Did you catch that at the end? So here it was, Congressman Ted Lieu trying to say it was Fox News giving out misinformation, Fox News downplaying it, teeing up the host to be able to say, well, there are plenty of situations in which that's not a problem, but here it's dangerous. And what the narrative is, Fox News is a threat to public safety. Fox News is a threat, to the lives of American citizens. Therefore, Fox News eventually will have to be punished. They'll have to be legislated out of the horrors of what they provide. That is the narrative. And then they're going to use that narrative on all online content creators, right down to the small guys, where YouTube will start banning channels and saying, hey, we don't agree with your information. You're a public threat. Therefore, you can no longer have a channel, and we don't have to actually pretend to be a platform anymore. Twitter, Facebook can ban accounts saying you're a public threat, because we don't like what you say, because you're giving people information that, debunks our narrative. So we can't have that. So we're going to label you a public threat. Now we can go back in time and actually see what the truth was. Because if we were to go by this idea that fake news creates an actual public threat that leads to death, then this would wipe out MSNBC, CNN, NBC, and a whole host of the major left-wing media. Why? Because the truth and what the liberals say don't agree, right? So let's go ahead and see what Fox News was saying. So this is an article here from February 3rd. Experts worry about pandemic as coronavirus numbers increase report. Experts believe the highly transmissible coronavirus will become a pandemic as infected numbers continue to increase in China and countries around the world, according to a startling report. Wow, I mean, this is what they call underplaying it? Now, maybe what they're trying to say is, well, Fox News was late to the game. Fox News was underplaying the virus until it became so unbelievably obvious that they had no choice but to change narratives. Okay, maybe that is the case. Let's actually go through and fact check that. Here's CNN from February 7th. February 7th, this is 4 days after that Fox News article. Excessive fears of the Wuhan coronavirus can be dangerous. And it goes on to read, just what is it about potential pandemics that scare us so? While the odds of dying from a car accident or heart disease are greater, at least in the United States, rare infectious diseases still loom larger in our collective nightmares. The truth is, the odds don't factor into what frightens us. Our rational minds aren't calling the shots here. Our irrational fears are. There is something supremely unsettling about the invisibility of germs and viruses and the way they spread that invoke our deepest, most primal survival instincts. Facts do win out in the end. Although this may take years, when was the last time anyone, except for the most alarmist among us, worried about that person sitting next to us on the subway or serving salad, having AIDS or HIV? And yet, there was a time when AIDS hysteria was commonplace, and a Florida family whose 3 young sons were infected with AIDS were suspected or subjected to bomb and death threats, and a school boycott before their house burned down in suspicious fires. Oh, wow, this seems like CNN was downplaying it, comparing it to past hysteria. Our hysteria is exceeding the threat. And this is after Fox News is reporting that this could become a real pandemic all around the world. We should be concerned. Okay, that's CNN. Okay, we all know that CNN is the worst of the worst. How about NBC News? NBC, MSNBC, basically the same company. As coronavirus spreads, so does concern over xenophobia. As the coronavirus continues to spread, experts point out that misinformation and misguided precautions, often rooted in racially insensitive stereotypes, have proliferated. So far, at least 7,711 cases of the illness have been reported, and experts are concerned that increasing xenophobia could be another side effect of the illness. What? Whoa. But okay. That seems like it's downplaying, saying, yeah, it's something, but, it's not worth, shutting down borders or, engaging in activities that could be seen as racially unsensitive. The left's narrative of who is downplaying this is continuing to collapse here. But what about the president, right? Surely there are claims that the president called this a hoax, and downplayed this, caused to a lot of missteps and a lot of, failures to stop and save millions of lives, hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of Americans' lives. Surely, their claims about the president downplaying this, surely that can't be wrong. Oh, wait, what's this? Political. Trump goes big on health care at State of the Union. This was on February 5th. This was after the State of the Union address. President Trump talked about coronavirus at the State of the Union. He sure did. The Trump administration's aggressive response to the Wuhan coronavirus is raising fresh worries about U.S. relations with China and the impact the quarantine and travel ban policy could have on people of Asian descent, Politico's Alice Miranda Olstein report. The World Health Organization has warned against cracking down on transportation and trade, adding the alarmist actions could damage international efforts to fight the virus. And on Tuesday, flight attendants and other labor unions criticized the administration over a lack of transparency about its plan for screening and treating travelers returning from the country. Lawmakers, meanwhile, are growing concerned the approach risks fueling fear and prejudice. Okay, so from this, hopefully you get the, idea here about who was really underplaying this and who was actually going out sounding the alarms. In fact, we can go through here. This is something that has been circulating online. All these different headlines. CNN, as the coronavirus spreads, fuel is fearing racism and xenophobia. What do we see here? Washington Post. You're likely to get the coronavirus, but it's not that bad. Coronavirus is scary, but the flu is deadlier, more widespread. What is it? Time Magazine. Want to protect yourself from coronavirus? Do the same thing you do every winter. The AP. Is the new virus more deadly than the flu? Not exactly. Amid coronavirus outbreak, doctors remind public flu is deadlier, more widespread. And we see this all the time. Wired Magazine, we should de-escalate the war on the coronavirus. All these people were out there, in the left-wing, sphere, trying to claim that, no, there's nothing to worry about with the coronavirus. It's not that deadly. It's not as bad as the flu. Trump was going out there talking about travel bans, screening people coming into the country, and the left was attacking him. And you could see right there in that Political article, right? How they were talking about Trump's travel bans, how he was going through and setting up screening for people coming back to the country or entering the country. And they were saying that, no, that is a bad idea. That could damage relationships. That could provoke fears of racism and xenophobia. That could damage international trade or damage our efforts to, coordinate a response to the coronavirus. Who was really downplaying all of this, right? And who was really out there sounding the alarm? Well, the truth is, it was conservatives out there sounding the alarm about the dangers of the coronavirus. It was the conservatives who were out there talking about, hey, we need to take this seriously. We need to go through and implement these steps to protect and safeguard our country. And it was the Democrats who were out there downplaying this. Now, here's another thing. Now we don't just have the articles to back it up. We also have video. Take a look at all these Democrats now attacking President Trump as not doing enough to protect and safeguard the country from the coronavirus. But what were they saying when Trump was enacting the travel bans and suggesting we screen everybody coming to the country? Well, clip 2 has the answer.
The risk to New Yorkers for coronavirus is low, and our city preparedness is high.
This should not stop you from going about your life, should not stop you from going to Chinatown and going out to eat. I'm going to do that today myself.
Come to Chinatown. Here we are. We're, again, careful, safe, and come join us.
There is no concern at this time for coronavirus in our region.
The Department of Sanitation is ready for Mardi Gras 2020.
The facts are reassuring.
We want New Yorkers to go about their daily lives.
But there's really no need to panic and to avoid activities that we always do as New Yorkers. We are a hardy people.
Americans do not need to panic. What I would suggest, however, is that Americans take this as a wake-up call for seasonal flu.
There's very little threat here. This disease, even if you were to get it, basically acts like a common cold or flu.
So we're telling New Yorkers, go about your lives, take the subway, go out, enjoy life, and certainly not to miss the parade next Sunday. I'm going to be there.
If you had to, would you close down the borders?
No.
We need to be honest about the American people. With the American people about the fact that we can't keep people coming here from China.
And transmission is not that easy. I think there's been a misperception that coronavirus hangs in the air waiting to catch you. No, it takes direct person-to-person contact.
We also know that if it were likely to be transmitted casually, we would be seeing a lot more cases.
Right, because this is New York and you're in elevators and trains with everybody all the time.
No, it was Trump that was downplaying it, not the Democrats, not the liberal media. Now, they are desperate to go ahead and shift the narrative and try and shift blame because, one, as Democrats, it means that they never have to take responsibility for any of their past actions or decisions. Go figure. That's nothing new. Now, but they need to shift the narrative so that they can justify attacking their political opponents and legislating conservatives like Fox News to legislate online content creators out of existence if they don't agree with the left-wing political narrative. They want to say that, hey, it was the right wing that was downplaying everything, and because they did, they created a public safety threat. Therefore, they're dangerous to the health of the country. Therefore, they must be removed from online. All their content, all their websites, YouTube channels, social media accounts must be wiped out in the name of public safety. But that's not the only reason why they're doing it. They're also trying to get support to be able to go through and, like Adam Schiff wants, to create a 9/11 style coronavirus commission. They're desperate to tell you that it was Trump and the conservatives that downplayed everything related to the coronavirus, and therefore we must investigate. They're trying to set up a narrative to not only legislate their political opponents out of any public conversation or out of the public eye, and be able to go through and punish their political opponents for disagreeing with them as a danger and a threat, but because the Trump-Russia investigation, flopped and the Ukraine impeachment attempt, based off of a totally false narrative, didn't go anywhere. They need a new narrative in order to justify continuing their never-ending fishing expedition, to subpoena people, to question them. Of course, they want to be able to have this commission up and going by, summer. During an election year, of course. But no, the election year has nothing to do with it, so that they can use and continue to use the House of Representatives as an extension of the DNC, because the DNC is still hurting for money. And so now they're using and abusing their public positions to help make up for the lack of funding for the DNC to attack their political opponents and try to influence the outcome of the 2020 election with all these bogus investigations. And all these bogus investigations, they know they're not really going to find anything, but they're hoping to find stuff that they can twist and bend into political attacks, into political advertisements. Basically, the never-ending investigations are designed to be able to use the House of Representatives as the DNC's opposition research firm. Plus, maybe they'll get lucky enough to find something that they could justify making another impeachment attempt by, say, August. Another impeachment attempt, and then this time they're going to drag out the impeachment all the way through to Election Day, right? Because they can't win on ideas. They cannot win on what it is they, stand for and what it is they claim the American people support. No, so all of the things that are going on, the rewriting of history, it's to avoid blame for their inaction, to set up a justification to write legislation to remove their political opponents out of the public sphere, and to justify more endless investigations to attack President Trump with, and to dig up dirt that they can use and political ads to influence the outcome of the election. That's all that's going on. But as you've seen, the truth is the opposite of what the Democrats have said. Now, it's great because, as Tucker Carlson on Fox News has ingeniously, discovered, is that the Democrats, when they go on the attack, they use the whoever smelt it dealt it tactic, which means that whenever they do something wrong and it starts to come to the surface, they immediately attack you of what they themselves did. And that way they can keep the spotlight off of them, because just like cockroaches, they can't survive in the daylight. They cannot survive in the spotlight. They need the cover of darkness. So whenever you hear the Democrats talking, you know that whatever it is they're saying and claiming is what they themselves are doing, and now trying to shift to claim the Republicans are. All right, don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell so that you never miss another video.